Have ancient prophets already warned us about the end of the world? Is it possible that their cryptic writings and visions were not just symbolic, but literal warnings for our generation? Today, we dive deep into prophecy, mystery, and ancient secrets that may reveal our planet's fate. Throughout history, prophets from various cultures have foretold cataclysmic events. From floods and fire, to stars falling from the sky. But is there a pattern? A code? A chilling connection between ancient texts and modern threats? Let's begin with the Book of Revelation, the final book of the Bible. It speaks of fire from the heavens, a great beast, and a time of tribulation so severe that men will seek death and will not find it. Many believe this symbolizes nuclear war, or global catastrophe triggered by human arrogance. But what if it's more literal than we thought? Daniel chapter 12 speaks of a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation. The prophet describes knowledge increasing exponentially, which many interpret as our current technological age. Matthew 24 warns of wars and rumors of wars, famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. Jesus himself said these would be the beginning of sorrows. According to biblical chronology experts, we may be living in the final generation before these prophecies unfold completely. The restoration of Israel in 1948 was prophesied in multiple biblical texts. If a biblical generation is 70 to 80 years, and Israel was reborn in 1948, we're rapidly approaching that timeline. But it's not just biblical prophets who saw our future. Michel de Nostradamus, the 16th century French physician and seer, wrote, "The great fire will fall from the sky for 3 nights and 3 days. The cause will appear both stupefying and marvelous." Many scholars believe this describes nuclear warfare or asteroid impact. Another chilling prediction from Nostradamus, in the year 1999 and 7 months, from the sky will come the great king of terror. While 1999 passed without global catastrophe, some interpreters point to September 11, subsequent wars, and the rise of global terrorism as the beginning of this reign of terror. The ancient Maya developed one of the most sophisticated calendars in human history. Their long count calendar famously ended on December 21, 2012. Mayan scholars now suggest we misunderstood the prophecy. The 2012 date marked the end of one cosmic cycle and the beginning of another. A transition period of upheaval and transformation. The Maya spoke of the time of no time, a period when old systems collapse and humanity faces a choice between destruction and spiritual evolution. Looking at our world today, climate change, political polarization, technological disruption, are we living through this prophesied transition? The Hopi tribe of North America has preserved prophecies for over 1,000 years, speaking of the Great Purification. Their prophecies describe 9 signs that would precede this purification. Let me share the most striking ones with you. The first sign, white men would come wearing different clothes. The arrival of Europeans. The fifth sign, the land shall be crisscrossed by a giant spider's web. Telephone lines and the internet. The seventh sign, you will hear of the sea turning black, and many living things dying because of it. Oil spills in our oceans. The eighth sign, you will see many youth, who wear their hair long like our people, come and join the tribal nations, to learn our ways and wisdom. The hippie movement and the modern return to indigenous wisdom. The ninth and final sign, you will hear of a dwelling place in the heavens, above the earth, that shall fall with a great crash. Many interpret this as the International Space Station or failing satellite systems. What's truly shocking is how these ancient prophecies align with modern scientific warnings. The doomsday clock, maintained by atomic scientists, currently sits at 90 seconds to midnight. This is the closest it's ever been to doomsday. Climate scientists warn we have less than a decade to prevent catastrophic global warming. They describe scenarios that echo the fire from heaven described in ancient texts. NASA tracks near-Earth asteroids and acknowledges that a major impact is not a matter of if but when. Geologists warn that supervolcanic eruptions could trigger a nuclear winter effect, blocking out the sun, matching descriptions of darkness in prophetic literature. We possess weapons capable of destroying civilization multiple times over. We're developing artificial intelligence that could exceed human control. The ancient texts speak of humanity's pride and technological overreach leading to its downfall. Sound familiar? Natural disasters have increased 300% since the 1980s. Armed conflicts persist in over 40 regions worldwide. Economic inequality has reached levels not seen since before the Great Depression. The ancient Hebrew prophets spoke of birth pangs. They said signs and catastrophes would increase in frequency and intensity, like contractions before birth. They're not describing an ending, but a transition, a difficult but necessary process of bringing something new into existence. Daniel chapter 12 speaks of knowledge increasing, but also of many running to and fro. Despite unprecedented access to information, wisdom seems scarce. Despite constant connectivity, loneliness epidemics plague developed nations. Despite material abundance, depression and anxiety are at all-time highs. But there's another layer to these prophecies that's often overlooked. The timing. Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, made over 14,000 predictions in the early 1900s. He spoke of earth changes, pole shifts, and the rise and fall of civilizations. Many of his prophecies about world wars, economic crashes, and technological advances came true with stunning accuracy. Cayce predicted that between 1958 and 1998, we would discover that our understanding of the universe was completely wrong. The discovery of dark matter, quantum entanglement, and the acceleration of cosmic expansion have indeed revolutionized physics. What's even more intriguing is how these prophecies connect across cultures that had no contact with each other. The Aztec fifth sun prophecy speaks of our current age ending in earthquakes and destruction, then being reborn. The Norse Ragnarok describes a final battle followed by a new world emerging from the ashes. Aboriginal Australian Dreamtime stories tell of a great cleansing that will prepare the earth for a new dreaming. These cultures, separated by oceans and millennia, somehow arrived at remarkably similar visions of humanity's future. Recent archaeological discoveries are adding weight to these ancient warnings. The Younger Dryas period, approximately 12,800 years ago, shows evidence of a global catastrophe that nearly wiped out human civilization. Ice core samples reveal dramatic climate shifts that occurred within decades, not centuries. Could this be the Great Flood remembered in over 500 flood myths worldwide? Are these stories not just mythology, but historical records of humanity's last great transition? But here's where it gets truly unsettling. The ancient Sumerian texts, some of the oldest written records on Earth, describe beings called the Anunnaki who supposedly guided human civilization. These texts speak of a great deluge that would cleanse the Earth when humanity strayed too far from divine law. Regardless of whether you believe in ancient astronauts or interpret these as metaphorical teachings, the message is clear: advanced knowledge was preserved through catastrophic cycles, and warnings were embedded in our oldest stories. The I Ching, China's ancient book of changes, contains a mathematical system that some researchers claim can predict future events. When computer analysts applied modern algorithms to its hexagram patterns, they found correlations with major historical events. The system suggests we're currently in a period called Thunder Over Mountain, representing sudden, dramatic change that will reshape civilization's foundation. The timing? According to I Ching calculations, we're in the critical transition period right now. Even more mysterious are the prophecies hidden in plain sight within our modern culture. The Georgia Guidestines, erected in 1980, contained commandments for humanity's future, including maintaining the global population under 500 million. Though the monument was destroyed in 2022, its message about a coming global transformation had already sparked decades of speculation. Were these modern prophecies, warnings, or something else entirely? Consider also the prophecies of the three secrets of Fatima, revealed to three Portuguese children in 1917. The third secret, kept hidden by the Vatican for decades, allegedly describes a great apostasy within the Church and global persecution of the faithful. Many believe this prophecy is unfolding now, as traditional religious institutions face unprecedented challenges and moral authority collapses worldwide. The children claimed the Virgin Mary showed them visions of wars, natural disasters, and ultimately, the triumph of peace through spiritual conversion. But here's what most people miss about these prophecies. They're not just predictions of doom. They're warnings meant to inspire change. The Book of Jonah tells of Nineveh, a city doomed to destruction that was spared when its people changed their ways. The Hopi prophecies describe two possible paths: destruction if humanity continues its current course, or transformation if we remember our connection to the earth and each other. Even Nostradamus wrote of a future golden age that could emerge after the period of tribulation, if humanity learns from its trials. What if the current crises are not punishments, but catalysts? What if they're designed to force humanity to evolve beyond its current limitations? Look at the positive trends that often go unreported. Global poverty has decreased dramatically. Clean energy technologies are advancing rapidly. Young people are more globally minded and environmentally conscious than any previous generation. The prophecies consistently describe two paths. One leads to destruction through continued selfishness and disconnection. The other leads to renewal through spiritual awakening and cooperation. Indigenous elders from around the world say we've reached the critical time when humanity must choose its path. The Book of Revelation describes the emergence of a new heaven and new earth. Hindu Vedas speak of the coming golden age. Buddhist prophecy describes the return of loving kindness. These aren't different stories. They're different expressions of the same truth: humanity is approaching an evolutionary leap. But that leap requires us to let go of old patterns that no longer serve us. It requires courage, wisdom, and a willingness to grow beyond our current limitations. The ancient prophets weren't fortune tellers trying to scare people. They were wisdom keepers, showing us the consequences of our choices and the possibilities for our future. Their visions of the end of the world may not mean the end of Earth itself, but the end of our current way of living. The end of one age and the beginning of another. The prophecies have been given. The signs are manifesting. The choice is ours. Will we heed the warnings of the ancients and consciously participate in humanity's transformation? Or will we ignore them until external circumstances force the change upon us? The future isn't written in stone. It's written in the choices we make today. What do you think? Are these prophecies coming true in our lifetime? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more investigations into the mysteries that shape our world.